This is Stan Yan, and I'm going to show you a little bit about Scrivener on iPad. So if you look at the main screen on the right, this is the project screen where you can see all my projects. If I click on Salem Charter Academy, which is something I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of, you can see that the left-hand sidebar is showing you the binder, is what they call it. And so the draft is where most of my my plot is shown there, and I've created a bunch of little folders here to basically, I'm using them as chapters. And so when I click on draft, you can actually see them in the corkboard view where you're looking at all the index cards, chapter names, generally what happens in those particular chapters. When I actually click on chapter 1, you'll notice that the screen was blank because I haven't actually done any of the actual script. If I actually click on the index card, then I'm able to actually add and view some of the more detailed plot lines that I've had, where you can see what's going on, a little synopsis. If I want to add another chapter, using that icon of the folder with a plus in it in the binder, I can go ahead and add something. Let's say chapter 1118. And then you can just add a little synopsis here. You can always edit these by going up to the right hand corner and clicking on the edit screen to go ahead and change these. It's also how you can delete them. So I'll select that and just go ahead and click on the trash can. Now if I just click on the plus, that would be how I would add additional pages to my script. But that I would want to do that inside of the folder. Although if you accidentally selected this, it's easy to change a text page into a folder. So what you do is you simply go to to more and then click on convert to folder. So one of the things you might have noticed is chapter 6 looks a little bit different than the rest of the chapters in the binder, because you can see what's kind of an expanded view of what's inside of it. So if I actually click on the folder, chapter 6, not only will I see all of those items, but I'll also see a little synopsis of what's inside. But what if I want to see an expanded view of chapter 1 in my binder? I just swipe to the left, click on expand, and there we go. We've got the same thing. Now make sure that you're not in edit mode when you do this, because otherwise that's when those radio buttons show up. So if I tap on chapter 1's folder, you can see a more detailed analysis of what's going on in the project screen. And we can resize this, so you see Patty wakes up. I typed too much in the synopsis to be viewing it, so I take 2 fingers and I can expand and contract the size of the cards so that you can see what's going on. So here's your little sneak peek at what's going on in the story. Patty wakes up. Patty Cadaver and her brother Peter have been homeschooled by their mad scientist father, Dr. Stanford Wang. As of late, Dad has become too busy to continue homeschooling them. Fortunately, a local school in the area, Salem Charter Academy, a school founded by witches, started open enrollment, welcoming all sorts of monster students. And then we've got Patty waking up Peter. She has to go down to the laboratory because Dad accidentally left him down there for quote-unquote upgrades. And then an uncomfortable bus ride to school is really kind of the original spark that shows us that something's not right. Now, if I want to add another card, I can click on that plus, and you'll notice that there's 2 different options, one of which is comic. Now, in my template folder, you can see that there is a comic template that I can go ahead and create, so I can use as I'm adding additional pages. And this particular template allows me to pre-populate page numbers and panel numbers and so on and so forth. So if I click on Edit and double click on the card, that allows me to actually look at a more detailed version of the card and make edits. I can change label colors, which can be more useful if I want to designate different colors as different statuses within the progress of, hey, I've already taken this to critique group or something like that. The status button can also do kind of the same thing. So you can mark, this particular part of the story as, hey, my editor has already taken a look at it. This is the final draft or whatnot. And we can go ahead and click on notes and add some additional notes. And then we can also select to change this into a folder if we wanted to, right here. I don't want to do that. Or to compile it. So compiling it basically means that when I export this whole thing, you'll actually see it as a part of the entire script. One thing that I was a little bit sad about on the app is that it doesn't actually have embedded in it the graphic image for the corkboard, which is cool, but it's not really necessary. So the next thing I want to show you is some of these other folders that are outside of the draft. So if we click on the research folder, you can see that this is kind of a catch-all for just research that I'm doing. So under themes, I've set up some themes that I can actually save images or website addresses, text files, whatever I want to save inside of these folders. So I've set up different themes that maybe I want to go ahead and explore. The father of Patty and Peter is a mad scientist that has glasses that let him travel into the future and the past. So I need to set up some time travel rules so that I don't, eliminate suspension of disbelief from people that are reading my story. As you can see, I don't really have a whole lot going on in there just yet. I also set up a folder of elevator pitches, and this will change through the course of time. So, I like to save them all. Just, if I liked one and then I changed it to something else, I want to be able to go back and see, what maybe I've written before. So this is the current elevator pitch, but it's a lot longer than a real elevator pitch. Patty Cadaver faces the challenge of going to school for the first time as a 6th grader with her clingy younger brother Peter, who have been homeschooled for their entire lives. Until now, I got an error in here, because of their father's increasingly busy work schedule. This prospect is compounded by the fact that Patty and Peter are zombies going to a previously all-witch school, the Salem Charter Academy. In the spirit of diversity, they've just opened their doors to all monsters, but change isn't easy, especially for Patty and Peter, who are enrolling mid-semester in a school that might not be ready for them socially or academically. Their father's mysterious absence has made things even more difficult for Patty, which forces them to learn quickly about responsibility, leadership, and cross-cultural friendship in the face of prejudice. So I'm hoping that this gives me kind of a roadmap going forward, so that as I continue to write, I make sure to stick with whatever my vision of this project is. So in that vein, if we go back out to our research folder, you can see that I've created a bunch of different folders for science versus religion, xenophobia is harmful, coming of age, to kind of explore themes that I want to stay consistent with. So with the science versus religion, I kind of wanted to turn everything on its head. What if religion was tangible? Would scientists be considered the crackpots? And where do these two meet? Because since Patty and Peter have been raised by scientists and they're going to school with a bunch of people that practice magic, but maybe in my story the science can be the faith-based part of the equation. Xenophobia is harmful. Well, this certainly is pertinent today, and in my story it says, isn't it better to learn from each other? How can xenophobia be used against us for the benefit of the few? And I don't really know, if that's going to manifest itself in my story or not, but something that I may want to think about. coming of age. This is a coming of age story because Patty is basically left alone to take care of her brother. How do children learn to be independent and proactive problem solvers? And so that may also drive forward, what my target audience is for this story as well. That's where I am in the creative process with Salem Charter Academy, is just doing plots. So when I get to doing actual script pages, I'll show some of those to you as well. Actually, why don't I go ahead and look at a project that I just imported recently or shared, and show you script pages for those so that you can see what Scrivener does, because it's really nice when you start scripting pages. So here, let me go ahead and click on regret. I will select comic script and select story pages, and you can see that my pages are organized just so. Page numbers are pre-populated. When I get to a blank spot, it automatically asks me whether I'm doing a character, dialogue, a panel number, or whatnot. It's very user-friendly and works really well within my own creative process. We're back out at the project screen. You'll notice that the Salem Charter Academy shows you the last time it was updated, and it has a little blue icon. It means it hasn't been synced with your Dropbox yet. And so if I click on in the upper right hand corner, see those two arrows in a circle? It'll go ahead and sync this with Dropbox. So if I'm working on my MacBook, I will be seeing the same version of the script. Same with my phone. So my iPhone actually has the Scrivener app. So if I come up with a great idea, I don't have any of my computers or iPads with me, I can still add, plot lines, ideas, if I can endure typing on my phone. But if I come up with a good enough idea, then that's not really a big deal. The other thing I want to show you, so let's go ahead and go into Salem Charter Academy again. Let me collapse this really quick. So anytime you want to move things around inside of, let's say I wanted to go ahead and make the introduction of Blaney West before going to the fortune teller counselor, I can go ahead and edit, and let's say I will go ahead and select that, and then in the lower left hand corner of the binder there's that four-headed arrow, which means you want to move something. So I can move this up, as you can see, or I can, let's say I wanted to nest this inside of a different chapter, I can move it to the right like this, or I can, move it to the left if I wanted to. Whatever I wanted to do, I can go ahead and do that. So anyway, hopefully that's all I forgot to show you guys for now. And again, I will make a new video when I've got more to show you. So thanks again, and thank you for your support.